Hey everyone, it's Jamie. Welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how I turn a Dollar Tree pool noodle into a birch tree logs. So stick around as I show you how to do this. First, I cut my pool noodle down to the sizes that I wanted. I will be making 3 logs, and you can get several logs from the pool noodle. It just depends on how long you cut the logs. You will need some Mod Podge or some Eileen's tacky glue. Both of these you can buy from the Dollar Tree. You'll also need some craft paper from the Dollar Tree. And I will be using a sponge brush to apply the Mod Podge. Next, I cut an 8.5 inch wide strip of craft paper. I just wrapped the paper around the noodle, then cut it a little longer than that. Next, I'm going to wad the paper up to get it really wrinkled. Then I undo the wad and I start ripping strips of the paper widthways. The strips are about 1.5 inch to 2 inches wide. Next, I'm going to be making the ends for the logs. I cut a strip of the craft paper as wide as the noodle. Then I fold the paper in half several times. Next, I'm going to trace around the end of the pool noodle. And then I'm going to cut out the circles. Now I'm going to add Mod Podge around the noodle. I'm doing this one section at a time. Then I'm wrapping the paper strips around the noodle. Then I'm adding more Mod Podge to secure the end of the paper. When wrapping the paper around the noodle, you want to overlap it a bit onto the previous strip. This is to make sure the noodle is covered and none of the noodle is showing through. So here is what the log is looking like so far. Now I'm going to be adding the ends of the logs. I'm going to be applying some Mod Podge. And then placing the circle right on top of that. After the Mod Podge has dried a little bit, next I'm going to be adding the little nubs that you see on logs where the branches were cut. To do this, I'm going to take a square of toilet paper. I'm just going to wad it up, and then I'm going to take my Mod Podge and add a little bit of Mod Podge just in random areas wherever you feel like you want a little nub. And then I'm going to place the toilet paper on top of that. Then I'm going to let that dry. Next, I'm going to be painting the log using white paint, and I added some water to the paint to thin it out because I don't want a real thick coat of paint. I just want to make sure that the brown paper isn't showing through. I will be painting the entire log. I'm even going to be painting over the toilet paper, and when I get to the toilet paper, I'm pressing down just a little bit, but not too much, because I still want the tissue to stick up a little bit so it looks like a bump. I did put 3 coats of the paint on here and let it dry. Next, I'm going to be using apple barrel paint in the color gray and a little bit of the Waverly chalk paint in the color white. I'm going to be mixing the two together to make a really light gray color. I added some water to make it a little bit thinner. This will be like a gray stain. I will be painting the whole log with 1 coat and then letting it dry. Now I'm going to be dabbing some black paint on top of the places where the tissue is. I'm not covering the entire tissue with the paint, just dabbing a little on top. Next, I'm going to add lines that you see on a birch tree. To do this, I will be using black paint and a scraper from Dollar Tree. You can use an old gift card, a credit card, or a really thin paintbrush if you want to. I'm just going to dip the edge of the scraper in the paint. Then I'm going to run the scraper across the log to make the lines in random places. Now that the lines are dry, the last thing I'm going to do is make a bundle by stacking the logs with the 2 longer logs on the bottom and then the smaller one on the top. Then I'm going to wrap the logs a few times with the jute twine. Then I'm just going to adjust the twine and then tie a bow. So here is the finished logs. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I wanted to thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye!